Spring break should be fun, but not for them. These are 5 true horror stories, vacations that turned into something far more terrifying. Welcome to the channel. Turn down the lights, and let's begin. They say you can rent paradise on Airbnb, but nobody tells you what happens when that paradise has a past no one dares to speak of. When we found the house on Albatross Key, we thought we were getting a spring break dream. Instead, we got a nightmare. None of us came home from the same. Spring of 2019. 5 of us. Close friends from FSU, Sam, Mia, Lenny, Kara, and Jay. We wanted a break from the noise, the chaos of campus, the crowds at Daytona or PCB. So when Mia found this isolated beach rental on a place called Albatross Key, it felt like fate. Private island, oceanfront house, no neighbors, no rules. It sounded like everything we wanted. Except it came with something else. Something that had been waiting. We took a private ferry, run by an old man named Carl, the only guy who still made trips out there. He didn't talk much except to warn us, cryptically, not many come out this way anymore. Not since the incident. We laughed it off. Creepy locals, right? But when we reached the house, huge glass windows, worn-down deck, that heavy salt smell, you could already feel something was wrong. The air inside was stale, like it hadn't breathed in years. We partied that night. Music, drinks, laughter. It was the last time we'd feel normal. Upstairs, there was a door, painted shut. No knob, no mention of it in the listing. We joked about it. Ghosts, secrets. But that night, we heard tapping. And then Mia messaged our group chat. Don't freak out. Someone's standing outside my door. We rushed to her room. No one was there. But she was shaking. Said she heard breathing. We checked everything, doors, windows. All locked. We should have left then. Next day, we found a drawer full of old Polaroids. Groups of guests posing awkwardly in the house. Same couch. Same deck. Always the same angle. Some smiling. Some not. And one photo, dated March 2016, showed a girl by the upstairs door. Behind her, a face. Shadowy, sunken-eyed. Watching. That night, I dreamed about the door. In the dream, it was open. Inside, a dark room. Rocking chair. A man, wrapped in gauze, sat motionless. He didn't speak, but I knew he was waiting. I woke up gasping. Kara had the same dream. Jay vanished next. Just gone. His shoes by the door. Phone on the nightstand. We found his footprints in the sand, leading into the ocean. None coming out. That night, the locked door was cracked open. Just a sliver. Lenny lost it. Started screaming about the man in the chair. Said Jay never left. Then we found a journal behind the fireplace. From a previous guest. The last page read, "If the door opens, don't go in. Don't look. Don't listen." We barely slept. Then at 2 a.m., Lenny walked in. Through the door. He never came back. Dawn, we ran. Back to Carl. He ferried us across without a word. Just said, "That house needs to be burned to the ground." Mia moved across the country. Kara never spoke of it again. As for me, I still dream of the man in the chair. And sometimes when I wake up at night, I swear I hear a door creak open. Spring break was supposed to be a dream, but on Albatross Key, our dreams followed us home. Spring break is about indulgence, sun, sand, and sin. But for a group of tech-savvy juniors headed to Myrtle Point, a secluded inlet on South Carolina's coast, their break turned into a spiraling nightmare of digital distortion, missing time, and a hotel that should not have existed. This story comes from the digital diary of a student named Olivia Marquez, recovered from her encrypted backup after her phone was found half buried in sand, for miles from the last known location of the hotel she described. To this day, No record of the hotel exists. My friends and I, me, Olivia, Danny, Priya, Mal, and Devin, weren't planning to go anywhere wild. We wanted something quiet.
No Miami Chaos.
No Daytona parties. Just someplace cheap and off-grid where we could recharge before finals. Myrtle Point seemed perfect. A little strip of coast below Myrtle Beach, but not part of the party scene. When Priya found the listing for the Orchid Sands Hotel, we were skeptical. It looked too new, too modern for the price. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a rooftop pool, velvet lounges, ocean views. 4 nights for $315 total? A steal. Too good to be true. The booking site wasn't even Airbnb or Expedia. Some sketchy off-brand aggregator called Solstice Stay. But Devin checked the address on Google Maps. It looked legit. We booked it. The confirmation email came instantly. Subject line: "You have chosen to return." We thought it was a marketing glitch. We drove down from Clemson in one car. The GPS routed us through a weird stretch of marshland. No road signs. No service. We got stuck behind a truck carrying live chickens, then turned off onto a gravel road that wasn't on the map. When we got there, the hotel was surreal. It looked like something from a dream. Minimalist white exterior, glowing under the overcast sky. A curved front desk with no attendant. Instead, a small chrome screen blinked. "Welcome, Marquez Party. Room 407. Keys printing." 2 cards spat out. We should have turned around. But Mal said, "It's just automation, like a fancy capsule hotel in Tokyo." The halls were carpeted in deep mauve. The lights flickered but stayed on. The elevator played static instead of music. Inside our room, everything worked. Smart TV, fridge, shower. But there was no Wi-Fi. The signal bars on our phones were frozen. Texts wouldn't send. The second night, we heard it. A humming. Low, mechanical, like a generator deep underground. Then a voice. Faint, tinny, and on loop. "We remember you. We remember you. We remember." We couldn't tell where it was coming from. The vents? The walls? The smart mirror? Danny called it quits. She grabbed her stuff and tried to leave, only to find the elevator was locked. The screen said, "Access denied. Stay duration not yet complete." We tried the stairs. They looped. No matter how far we went down, we always ended up on floor 4. Devin's voice cracked. "This is a trick. A prank. Some kind of escape room thing." But when we tried to open the front doors, steel and glass, they wouldn't budge. The outside world was visible but distorted, like heat waves off asphalt. We were trapped. That night, Priya disappeared. We were all in the room watching an old movie on mute because the TV wouldn't play audio. I went to the bathroom. Took maybe 2 minutes. When I came out, Priya was gone. No one had seen her leave. Her phone was still charging. Her shoes by the door. We searched every hallway, every stairwell, every floor, called her name. Nothing. Then we checked the CCTV panel on the lobby wall. Devin managed to hack it using his laptop. There was no footage, just static, except one 5-second clip from 3:16 a.m. It showed Priya in the hallway, staring at the wall, then walking into it, vanishing into solid plaster. We tried everything to break the cycle, unplugging the systems, busting a window, tripping fire alarms. But nothing worked. Every morning the day reset. Same weather. Same faint music in the lobby. Same message on the elevator screen. Stay duration not yet complete. We stopped eating. The minibar restocked itself. Danny threw up from panic. Mal scratched her own arms until they bled, trying to wake up. On day 6, Devin had a realization. This isn't a place. It's a pattern. It's repeating itself. He showed us his laptop. The Solstice Day website now redirected to a .onion page. Darknet stuff. It had no listings. Just a phrase. You have returned to where you were always meant to stay. And a countdown. 12:04. 12:03. The only place we hadn't looked was behind the staff-only door near the lobby. Mal broke the lock with a fire extinguisher. Inside was a pitch-black stairwell that led to a basement. Rows of filing cabinets. Dusty CRT monitors. Cassette players and 8mm film reels stacked in plastic tubs. On the far wall there were photos of us. From the elevator, the lobby, the pool. Even the ones we hadn't taken. Photos of Priya walking through the wall. Photos of Danny crying in the hallway. Photos of me sleeping in bed when I knew I hadn't. One photo showed all 5 of us, taken from outside the building. We were all looking out the window, and behind us, a tall figure. No face, just static where its head should be. Devin snapped. He grabbed the fire extinguisher again and smashed the front window. It didn't crack, but as he screamed, the glass rippled, like water, and when he stepped through it, he vanished. I grabbed his arm too late. My hand passed through air.
Mal kollapset.
Danny tried to jump through after him, and hit the glass so hard she broke her nose. I took a photo of the wall. The camera app glitched. The photo showed 6 people. I dropped the phone. On the 8th morning, the lobby screen changed. Stay completed. Thank you for your return. The elevator opened. We got in. No music. Just darkness. When it opened again, we were on the gravel road. No hotel in sight. No parking lot. Just miles of marshland and the distant hum of cars from the highway. Only Danny and I had made it out. Mal was never found. Neither was Devin. Neither was Priya. I returned to the GPS coordinates for my booking confirmation 2 weeks later. Nothing was there. Just an empty field where the hotel should have stood. No foundation. No sign of construction. But every now and then, when I turn on my phone's camera, the background blurs. And for a split second, I see the mauve hallway again. And I hear the voice say, "You have chosen to return." Spring break doesn't always mean sun and surf. For some, it's a chance to disconnect, no phones, no Wi-Fi, no people. Just nature. That was the plan for 4 biology students from West Virginia University. A camping retreat deep in the Monongahela National Forest. 4 days off-grid to reconnect with nature and hike the ancient mountain trails. But when we set up camp near an unmarked river that doesn't appear on any map, we stumbled into something primordial. A presence older than the forest itself. Only 2 of us came back, and one of us hasn't spoken since. We drove up with minimal gear, sleeping bags, firewood, trail mix, cheap beer. It was me, Jordan, my girlfriend Lily, our buddy Max, and his twin sister, Taylor. We'd been friends since freshman year, and all craved a spring break without crowds or chaos. We wanted quiet. The forest gave us that at first. Towering trees, damp air, moss on everything. The trailhead was unnamed. Just a deer path branching off Route 33. Max said it looped around an old ranger outpost and down to a creek before reconnecting. We planned to camp off-trail and Max brought the compass. He'd done this before. Around mid-afternoon on the 2nd day, after hiking longer than expected, we heard water. Not the babble of a stream, but a deep, rushing surge. It wasn't on any map. A wide, black river about 20 feet across. The water moved fast. No bridge. No name. The trees around it were strange. Twisted bark like burned scars. No birds. No insects. Just wind and current. We set up camp nearby. Max wanted to fish. Taylor napped. Lily and I sat on a rock and listened to the flow. That's when I saw it. Something upstream. A figure. Cloaked. Watching us. When I blinked, it was gone. That night, around the fire, Lily kept turning toward the river like she was listening. When I asked, she whispered, "Do you hear that?" We went quiet. Then we heard it too soft singing. A woman's voice, off-key, drifting on the current. Probably the wind, Max shrugged. Sound bounces weird out here. Taylor wrapped herself in her sleeping bag early. Eyes wide, uneasy. That night, none of us really slept. The humming didn't stop. Taylor woke up screaming before dawn. Said something had been standing over Max in the night. Pale hands, hollow eyes, hair like river weeds. It whispered, "Follow the current. Leave the flesh." Max brushed her off. "Sleep paralysis," he said. But I saw the bruises on her arms. They looked like fingerprints. Lily barely spoke the next day. Just stared into the water like it was whispering to her. By afternoon, Max went upstream alone. Said he'd scout a place to cross. He never came back. We searched the banks, shouted his name, followed the bend for hours. Nothing. Just his compass sitting on a rock. The needle spinning. We packed to leave the next morning, but the trail was gone. The forest had changed. The path we'd hiked in on was overgrown, like it hadn't been touched in years. GPS frozen. Compass dead. Phones useless. Lily started humming. The same melody from the first night. Taylor begged me not to let her near the river. That night I woke to splashing. Lily was waist-deep in the current, walking forward, eyes vacant. I pulled her out, but she screamed. No, something inside her screamed. It wasn't her voice. It was older, deeper. Upstream, something laughed. Taylor told me an old Appalachian story. A river witch. A spirit that lives in hidden currents. She sings to you, lures you in. If you follow the river, you disappear. Become part of her. I didn't believe her until I found Lily's journal. Water-warped, but legible. She talks to me when I sleep. It read. She's beautiful. She wants us to come to her. Max is with her now. I burned the journal. Lily didn't speak again that day. We took turns watching her that night. But I must have drifted off. When I woke, both girls were gone. I ran to the riverbank. Taylor was across the water, screaming for me to run, telling me not to look back. Lily stood waist-deep again, eyes wide, pale. Behind her, something rose from the river, hair like algae, a long, hollow face, no eyes, just water. It reached for Lily. She went under without a sound. Taylor and I wandered for 2 days before a rescue team found us near an old service road. They never found the river, or Max, or Lily. They called it exposure, delirium. But some nights, I hear that humming outside my window, and when it rains hard enough, I feel the pull, like something beneath the surface wants me to follow. But I don't, because I know now, if you follow the river, you never come back. Small towns can be charming, quaint, quiet, untouched by time. But sometimes that untouched charm hides a tradition never meant to survive the modern age. In March of 2022, a spring break road trip took 3 friends into the Appalachian backwoods of western North Carolina. They stopped in a town called Ash Grove, a speck on the map with no website, no social media presence, and only one gas station. They were never supposed to stay. But when their car broke down and a local family offered them a room, they learned the town had one rule. Don't go outside after dusk. And whatever you do, don't watch the firelight through the trees. We were heading to Boone, me, Kelsey, my boyfriend Brian, and our best friend Carla. We'd been friends since high school, now college juniors, and road trips were our tradition. We took the scenic route through Route 19 to avoid highway traffic. That's when Brian's engine light came on. The car started to sputter near a stretch of woods with no bars on our phones and no houses in sight. We coasted down into a valley and found a town nestled between the hills. Ash Grove. Population unknown. There were no streetlights, no businesses aside from a general store and a post office that looked abandoned. But an old man named Amos at the gas station was friendly, too friendly. "Y'all from the city?" he asked, lighting a cigarette. "You don't look like the type to belong here. But we got a place you can stay while she gets looked at." She meaning the car. We should have kept walking. The Holloways lived in a massive farmhouse that looked like it hadn't been touched since 1950. There was Grandma June, the matriarch. Her son, Glenn, a huge man with pale eyes and a voice like gravel, and two young kids who stared at us from the staircase like we were zoo animals. They offered us a guest room, 3 cots, and a locked window. That night, during dinner, June said something strange. "Don't mind the drumming," she said. "It's just the firefolk." We paused. "Firefolk?" Carla asked. Glenn smiled. "You'll hear them come nightfall. Just stay inside." Around 10 p.m., we heard it. A steady beat. Distant drumming. A low, pulsing rhythm coming from the woods. Occasionally flutes or maybe pipes. And whispers, sharp, breathless. Brian peeked through the blinds. His face went pale. "I saw torches," he whispered. "In the trees." I checked my phone again. No service. No Wi-Fi. Carved into the wood beside my cot were 3 words. "Don't watch long." The Holloways didn't want us to leave. The mechanic never came. The town's only phone line was down. Glenn took our keys for safekeeping. When we tried to walk back to the car, Amos blocked us at the gas station. "The firefolk are watching," he said. "You've been marked." That night they invited us to the church. A wooden structure at the edge of the forest. No steeple, no crosses, just pews, an altar, and dozens of townsfolk, all wearing burlap robes. We refused to go inside. Carla screamed when someone grabbed her wrist. We ran, but the forest was waiting. We stumbled into a clearing. Dozens of figures in robes danced around a bonfire. Their faces were hidden behind wooden masks. Long noses, animal teeth, scorched bark. The air was thick with smoke. We turned to leave, but someone grabbed Brian. He screamed as they dragged him to the fire. We lunged after him, but the crowd surged forward, chanting in a language I'd never heard. One masked figure pointed at us. A voice echoed, "She's the vessel. The pact is owed." Carla and I ran. Brian didn't follow. We returned to the house. The door was chained, the windows nailed. June sat inside, rocking in her chair, whispering prayers. I smashed a lantern and used the flame to push her back. We took the back door and sprinted for the car. It was still there, but the engine was gutted. We broke into the post office. Inside was a hand-drawn map of the region. Circles, symbols, words I didn't recognize. At the top, one phrase was scrawled in ink. "The warding holds until the blood moon." The next night, we hid in the woods. Carla said we'd wait out the firefolk. But the drumming returned, louder, all around us. Then we saw Brian again, naked, face blank, eyes completely black. He wasn't Brian anymore. He pointed to Carla, then to the moon. Then he screamed. No, something inside him screamed. Figures emerged from the trees. Carla ran. I did too. I heard her behind me until the chanting stopped. When I turned back, she was gone. So was Brian. Just before dawn, I found a road. Asphalt. A van passed. The driver, a mailman, stopped and asked where I came from. "Ash Grove," I said. He frowned. "Where?" He'd never heard of it. He took me to the sheriff in the next town. When they went back, Ash Grove was gone. No houses, no church, just forest. And a cemetery. One gravestone caught my eye. Brian Hollis, died 1942. Amelia Carla Jennings, died 1956. Kelsey Baker, reserved. I haven't slept through the night since. Sometimes I wake to drumming in my backyard. Sometimes I smell burning pine. Sometimes I see Brian's face in the window. The pact, they said, was owed. And I think I still have something they want. Spring break took us to the edge of the Yucatan Peninsula. Most people go for beaches and cocktails. We went for science. My university's geology program offered a spring field study in the cenote regions, those famous limestone sinkholes formed over centuries. Beautiful, dangerous, and, according to local legends, sacred burial sites for things that were never meant to be unearthed. We didn't listen. We went too deep. Only 2 of us came back, and one of us wasn't quite human anymore. There were 5 of us, me, Tom, my girlfriend Rachel, 2 grad students, Eric and Dana, and our professor, Dr. Hughes. The university had partnered with a private landowner to study an unexplored cenote recently uncovered after a minor quake. We stayed in a refurbished ranch house half a mile from the site. No neighbors, no cell reception. Just radio contact with the mainland university. Locals avoided the area, called it cursed. La Piedra Seca, they said, the dry stone. Supposedly, no matter how deep you went, the water always drained away. Like the earth was thirsty. We thought it was a geological quirk. But we should have known the difference between a hole in the earth and a mouth. The cenote was massive, 100 feet wide. Deep enough that our signal ropes vanished into blackness. We set up scaffolding, lowered cameras, took samples. At 75 feet, Dana found a smooth stone wall man-carved, not natural, covered in symbols, spirals, teeth, faces, but they were melting. The rock looked like it had wept. The carvings were warped like wax. That night, Dana said the wall was humming. No one believed her, until the radio turned on by itself. White noise, then a voice. Feed the deep. Feed the deep. We were in the cenote at sunrise. Eric noticed something growing along the wall. Grayish, jelly-like nodes, pulsating slightly. We collected a sample. Dr. Hughes stored it in a sealed case. He was excited. That night, Eric developed a rash. By morning, it had spread into a lattice of lesions, tracing the veins in his arms like tributaries. He said he felt watched from beneath his skin. We wanted to leave, but the landowner had gone silent, and our radio only echoed that same phrase, "Feed the deep." Dr. Hughes refused to stop. He believed the cenote had once been a sacrificial site, where ancient cults fed offerings to something called the Sleeping Mouth. We descended again. At 90 feet, the air felt thick. The walls were slick with the gray film, pulsed with our movement. Eric had to stop, said he couldn't breathe. Rachel stayed with him. When we came back up, they were gone. Only their harnesses remained, sliced clean. In the distance, we heard the water churn. Something moving, deeper than any sonar had touched. Dana locked herself in the bathroom. She said something was growing in her back. I broke the door. Her spine had shifted. Bumps along it like vertebrae had been replaced. Her eyes were black. She whispered, "It's learning to wear us." Then she vomited black water. Dr. Hughes ran. I followed. We made it to the truck, but it had sunk halfway into the ground. The earth had opened. A second sinkhole, wider than before. Breathing. Dr. Hughes started muttering bioweapons, fungal networks, sentient pathogens, ancient biospheres. None of it mattered. He jumped in. I heard the splash. Then a voice. It wasn't his. It was mine, calling from below, screaming. I used the emergency beacon, sent out our coordinates. Then I ran. They found me 2 days later, sunburned, dehydrated, walking barefoot down a jungle road. They took me to a hospital, quarantined me, said I hallucinated. Fungal exposure. Said the cenote never existed. But last week, I got a package in the mail. No return address. Inside was a rock sample. Sealed. Gray. Pulsing. And a note. She's awake now. You fed her well.